Hey guys, just thought I'd share my experience about how it is living in a van so far. As you know, I sort of started living in it when it was about 80% done. I wasn't quite finished with everything that I wanted to be finished, and I don't think I posted it before, but though I had the sink running in the last post, the water pump just went up in smoke, quite literally. I'm not sure why. The tube was bent. I think it was trying to pull through liquid, but didn't quite make it. Started getting smoky. It was pretty dodgy. I won't sugarcoat it. You know, there's been a lot of difficulties, and I'd probably at this point say the difficulties outweigh the positives. For one, metropolitan living isn't very easy, to be honest. I was sort of planning to, run around Melbourne and create dots of where I could sleep, and dots of where I could stay, and dots where I'd have like a fair bit of privacy but still feel quite safe. Didn't manage to create a lot of those dots. I ranked in 5 different categories. I had, privacy, the sort of level it was on, the amount of sound that it was making. I can't remember the other two. Just I think the overall vibe of the place. And the vast majority of them would get about 5 out of 10. They'd be lacking in something pretty vital to the experience of being there. A lot of the time I'm trying to park close to work. For example, my work is in Abbotsford. And sort of park around Abbotsford, you're parking in like a wealthy, pretty yuppie suburb. So if you're trying to sleep in the east in a van, then you're often intimidating these rich old people. And if you're trying to sleep in the west, it could be quite an intimidating experience for you, depending on the crowd surrounding you. And parking can be really difficult, and especially the northern and eastern suburbs, because it's also marked, and it's like every single area has like a time limit of how long you can be there, or you're paying for parking, which is a whole other ball game, which I'm not going to get into. And so often you're sort of parking in the places where people don't want to be, places that aren't desirable. Those are the ones that are free, and those are the ones that are often the most undisturbed. Here's what the van looks like at night. My van's very good at keeping out light, so it doesn't matter if I park under huge beams of light, I can still keep it out. But the fact is, it does feel a little bit dingy at times, and that's worth keeping in mind. The other thing is savings. It's like you'd think living in a van in Metropolitan, you'd be saving the money that you're not paying on rent and bills and etc. Money starts being necessary in different areas, like, obviously you're paying a lot more in petrol or diesel or whatever you're paying. Your phone bill's going right up, because instead of using the unlimited data you get from a home plan, you're just syncing through all your mobile data. I think while you're travelling, it's possibly a really enjoyable experience, because you're only staying at desirable places. One other thing that I'd say, having a tall roof is so important, and I paid an extra $6,000 or something to make sure that I had a van with a tall roof. Because I think without it you'd feel really quite claustrophobic. At the moment I do occasionally feel claustrophobic with the fact that I can stand up straight, I can stretch, and I can do what I need to do. It makes the world of difference. The other thing is, it can be kind of embarrassing sometimes to say that you live in a van, and I don't know who's sympathising with me on that, but it's just, I don't know, the instant thought that goes to people's mind is, is this guy homeless? Does this guy need help? And that can be just sort of quite an uncomfortable thing to have to take people through, that it's like, a personal decision that you're making. It can leave you in a position where a lot of the time you feel a bit trapped, because there's no place that you're really allowed to be. Anyway, I know this sounds like a pretty dark sort of a, analysis so far, especially when so many people take such positive stuff from #vanlife. So on that, I'll list a few positives that I have experienced from it. First of all, I've been spending a hell of a lot less time just sitting at home playing video games. Don't get me wrong, I was never like a huge gamer, but like I could easily have sunk just 6 hours into mindless internet scrolling every single day, without a doubt. It's the amount of time that I'd just be spending playing little multiplayer shooter games and little real-time strategies and little just crap, and it would just, the day would pass me by, and it's like I'd get home from work 4 PM and mess around for the next 6 hours and then sleep and do it again the next day. Haven't been doing that. there's been little challenges that I've had to sort of conquer each and every day. It's just getting washing done, Went down to the laundromat, got my washing done, and while I'm waiting for the washing machine, what do? I'm going to go for a walk. You go around for a little walk in the suburb. It's a place I've never seen before. It's somewhere in North Melbourne, which is funny that I've never been there. And it was cool, it was cool just to wander around and just see what other people live like and just experience something new, and I did quite like that experience. Other things, just figuring out challenges. Like I was sitting in the Bunnings parking lot for literally 4 hours, just doing the plumbing for my tank. Just sitting there, just twisting tubes and trying to chuck them in and making noise with the drill, but it doesn't matter because it's the Bunnings parking lot, there's noise everywhere, there's lots going on as it is. Nobody called me out for it. But it could be quite embarrassing for some people, but I think if you're going to do this kind of thing, you can't, there's a lot of things that are quite embarrassing that you just sort of have to get over and, continue with it. And embarrassment, I think it's really been something that I've struggled with a lot of the way, and if you're the kind of person who doesn't get embarrassed very easily, maybe this is absolutely for you. There's some degree of reward when you do manage to do what you'd normally do in a house, in a van. I've got a little oven here. I just cooked a roast chicken and I managed to steam some vegetables, and that, such a simple thing felt like a little bit of an achievement, just sitting there with a plate of food that I'd made in a van, not paying rent, not paying bills. I suppose I bought the gas bottle. I say that, there's not a lot of glamour to van life, especially in Metropolitan, but right now, I'm sitting, 20 minutes from the city in this weird Bundoora lookout, and if you're committed to having more of those nice moments, then there is some really enjoyable parts to it. But boy hell, I'm 1 week in and this, there's been a hell of a lot of challenges and, a fair few sleepless nights. Luckily so far, no knocks on the door, no Karens trying to tell me to get out of here. But yeah, I guess that's my update for now. See you next time.